I think one of the most misunderstood and the most controversial issues and topics that's actually been talked about in today's society and here on YouTube is the union or the reacquaintance of the union of a strong black man and a strong black woman. It's funny that when we talk about this type of thing, this type of union, that is something that many people joke about. It's like we're the butt of a lot of jokes. This type of relationship doesn't really mean much because we don't see a lot of this type of union going on in today's environment. And one of the main things that's really irritating is that we've lost respect for the strong black positive relationship because mainly it's because of what we see on TV and what we see in the environment, and pretty much what we see our friends, because pretty much a lot of our friends who we know may be in an interracial relationship, which means that we see an absence of that type of union. In my particular opinion, I think that society is actually really threatened by this type of union because they know that there's nothing that can really come between a strong black man and a strong black woman. But my question is, why is it that the state of the black relationship is in a state of complete decay? It's like it's so many issues that's going on here. I mean, when the moment we see somebody married, we always see them marry somebody of a mixed race, of a different race, or whatever the case may be. And I'm always brought back to the question as to why is it that what is happening to today's black positive relationships? Is it something that is that we can just only hope for and dream for, or what is the real state of this? Because basically in today's society, again, you rarely see a black couple walking hand in hand. I mean, for whatever reason, you see interracial couples, you see a white man holding a black woman's hand, or a white woman holding a black man's hand. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you cannot control who you fall in love with, but whatever happened to the strong black relationship? I mean, why is there so much tension? Why is it that they cannot reconnect and become that strong union that they really are meant to be? It really depends on who you ask. I mean, because basically when you talk about the traditional typical black relationship between a black man and a black woman, they're going to have their own opinions about what they feel is wrong with the relationship, or should I say why the relationship went sour. And pretty much it's like when you ask let's say a black woman, she's going to label many issues as to the reason why she does not want to be with a black man. And it's the same thing with the black man. If you ask the black man why is it that he doesn't want to be with a black woman, he's going to have his own reasons why also. But it's so funny to the fact that really amongst all of these type of reasons as to the reason why they don't want to be together, it's like they're playing into the mind of society. And the reason why I say that is because society has set up a standard, or rules and regulations as to what's supposed to go on between a black man and a black woman. One thing about it is that I think, in my opinion, that society has it so much to the fact that they really have the black man and the black woman's minds to be programmed to attack each other. And and it's so funny that I said it is because every time you mention here on YouTube, or you see in the movies or whatever, that you see a black man and a black woman together, they're always to the point where they're almost about ready to either cut each other's head off through insults. They're always ready to play the baby mama, daddy's girl games, or whatever, child support, alimony, all of these type of things, all of that, so they can keep the separation going. And I think that really that all of this stuff needs to stop, because we are starting to lose the essence of what it really means to be, or what it really means to see a black man and a black woman really being in a relationship and really actually loving each other. It's like it's so many issues as to the reason why this typical union has become extinct. And basically, I'm trying to figure out myself, like, what's going on. That is one of the most beautiful things, in my opinion, where you see a strong black man and a strong black woman walking down the street hand in hand, and they're actually happy. I'm not saying that type of union doesn't exist these days, but really you have to kind of look a little bit deeper to kind of find it, because it's like it's something of a rarity. It just doesn't exist anymore, and really it's like it's a shame. because really we have these young black men and young black women growing up, and they really need positive role models. And I'm not saying that a mixed relationship cannot offer that, but it's like what they really need to see, really, that black men and black women can get along. They can get it, can actually get along to the point where they can actually be good for each other, instead of what we're always seeing here in today's society. It's like society has come up with so many things that they use to keep the black man and the black woman separated. And it's like, it's so funny because you see it through the music that we hear, you see it through the movies, and you see it through just different things, and it's sending a message that the black man and the black woman should stay away from each other. And honestly, I think that's kind of foul and messed up, because basically, it's like, what type of message are we sending to our young boys and young girls that are really trying to find themselves, and really trying to figure out who they want to be with for the rest of their lives? Every time they look down the street or around the corner or on TV, they're seeing interracial couples. The next thing they're going to realize is that, okay, this is the way that it's meant to be. I'm not meant to be with a black woman, because according to what I've seen and what I know, black men and black women are only meant to argue with each other, which means that I'm not really made to be with a black man or a black woman. As the caveat that maybe I should go ahead and do the right thing, or what society says is normal, and marry somebody that's outside of my race, which is totally, in my opinion, not a good reason to do that. But again, these are things that does happen, and you never know what's going on in the mind of a child. Why? I mean, it's just so funny, because it's like, again, going back to the issue as to the reason why the typical black man and the black woman can't get along, it depends on who you ask, the reasonings behind it. But really, I've came up with pretty much, my own reasonings as to the reason why we're starting to see the decay of the black relationship. Okay, and I've listed at the top of the list, I say that it's a lack of communication, a lack of trust, and a lack of respect. The lack of communication, in my opinion, comes into play because the only time that you would actually see a black man addressing a black woman, or a black woman addressing a black man, is when they're always at each other's throat. And I mean, you do not have to go far to actually see this, because you see it play before you. It's like a self-fulfilled prophecy that you see before it every day. It's like, okay, you don't have to go far. You can look on the YouTube channel. You have some people that dedicate their whole YouTube channel just to addressing the issues and problems of the opposite sex. And I mean, I don't have to go far. I mean, you could actually name a couple of people. I know I can name a couple of people off my, right off the top of my head that I've, sat there and witnessed and actually see them there. It's like their whole channel is just dedicated to, making disparaging remarks about the opposite sex. And basically, when they're not talking about the person of the same sex, they don't want to have anything to do with them. Don't say anything to me. The only thing I want to talk about is what's wrong with you. I mean, what's wrong with us as black folk? I mean, we have to get to the point where we should be able to open and honestly communicate without always being able to throw jabs at each other, because my Bible tells me grievous words stir up strife. So one thing about it, that in order for you to first of all be able to get along with each other, you first of all got to know how to talk to one another. And one thing about it is that we've lost that art of skillful communication, where you're able to talk to someone and actually without actually coming away with having the person come away with feeling beaten up. Again, along to caveat that, the lack of trust. It's like, okay, I don't trust you. I don't have any faith in you. I cannot trust what you're gonna say you're gonna do, because I don't know what your intentions are. I mean, it's just so funny. Trust is one of those basic things, along with communication, that keeps a relationship as solid as a rock. I'm not saying that's the only two elements that keeps a relationship together, but that is one of the ones that is up there that keeps relationships going. And basically, when you don't have trust, basically, really, to tell you the truth, you don't have nothing, because you cannot sit there and say, I have faith in you because I know you're going to be there when I want you to have my back. But one thing about it is that when push comes to shove, and a relationship faces issues like lack of money, a person got fired from their job. Okay, where is the trust? Where are you when I need you? You're not there. And the sad part about it is that we're seeing a lot of this in black relationships, and basically it shouldn't be. But you know what? It is, and it's a sad thing, because really, I mean, to tell you honestly, yeah, we have, interracial relationships, but when you take away all of this interracial stuff, the black man and the black woman we're the only ones that we have. We got to have each other's back. And basically, if you don't have that, then guess what? There is no trust. The lack of trust also again stems from society, because again what's being played out before us on the television screens and what we see in the popular media. We have some people that really don't know what they want. It's like they really, it's like they're flip-floppy. They're in it, for just a temporary season, but the minute that something comes up where you're going to have to really prove your worth in a relationship, they can't be found. And that's on both the man side and the woman side. And I mean, it shouldn't even be that way. Lack of respect. Now, this is like a big part, or the big piece of the issue here is lack of respect. The man has lost the respect for the woman, and the woman in turn has lost her respect for the man. It's like it becomes, again, a personal battle of who has the bigger pants. And the thing about it is that, these days women are stepping up and really taking over the role of the traditional man, and basically really that makes the man feel in the sense that he's being disrespected. I mean, it depends on the individual personality of the people that we're talking about in question, but really, I mean, it's like respect comes in so much different ways. It's like, you can't really put your thumb on it and say it's one particular thing, because really, to tell you the truth, it is a combination of a lot of things. And really, to tell you the truth, the respect factor as it relates to both the black man and the black woman, there is none. Or if there is, you have to dig a little bit to find it, because basically the only thing that I see and that plays out before my face, on the screens every day is that, all you see is just, black men calling women bitches and whores and stuff like that. And really, it's like time out for that. How in the world can you actually demand respect when you are talking down to someone? And that goes again on the woman's part too. You can't demand respect when you're always up there talking about that a man is no good. Because, to tell you the truth, both wrongs in this case does not make a right. But a lot of times, women are actually, guilty of doing that. And the funny thing about it is that, and I'm gonna get into this later in this piece here that I'm talking about, but women really, they have this saying there that they're always telling, their girlfriends and their younger children or whatever that, men are no good and that they'll never amount to anything. But see, one thing about it again is that, you have to be careful with what you say, because you never know. Your words are, and I believe that your words are a self-fulfilled prophecy. You're able to speak things into existence. And basically, it's like once you do that, that leads to, the further decay of possible future relationships that your daughters and sons may want to have with a fellow, man or woman of their age or whatever in the future. But you know what? I think that a lot of times also too, the reason why, relationships for the black perspective doesn't work is because we have this idea of what, a typical relationship is supposed to be. We have the Jada Pickett's, we have, the Denzel Washington, we have the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's. We have all these other type of, relationships that we have, that we see play out in front of us, but yet still we don't understand. We're looking at this from a Hollywood standpoint, and basically when you look at it from the Hollywood standpoint, you're not getting the true essence of what a relationship is all about. It's so easy to sit there and say, I want my relationship to be like, so-and-so's relationship, because it looks like they don't go through anything. It's like they're always happy, they have money, they have all of this, that, and the other. But one thing about it is that we have to really teach our sons and daughters the true meaning of what it takes to be in a relationship. And to tell you the truth, honestly, it takes more than just money and just a rock and a fame, and, and looking good in society to be in a relationship. So basically now, with that being said, crossroad. Okay, what is it? What's going on? Okay, we're at a dilemma now, because now we're having to sit here and really think about, what really do we need to know about relationships, pretty much. And what I mean by that is that what tends to really cause the separations to the intimate black relationships. What is it? I mean, I know I've delved into a little bit at the beginning here up till now about what, I think that, the reasons for the decay of the black relationships may be, but I really want to really kind of break it down and get a little bit more in depth here just for a moment, at least, to kind of see what's going on here. Now, again, as I mentioned before, I've already mentioned that society plays a big role in, the decay of the black relationship, because, it's like, people base their marriages and their relationships on Hollywood, and that is not really a practical way of going about addressing anything, because you're not getting the true worth or the true meaning and the true love of what a black relationship is all about. Again, it's okay to to look at other folks and see that they're walking down the red carpet with a smile or whatever, but we don't know what is going on in their personal lives. It's so easy to look at it and say, oh, they're going through, they're not going through anything. They're always happy. They are always smiling when you talking, when you see them on camera. But one thing about it is that we should be better than that. We have to be a lot smarter than that. We have to be more cautious than that, because we want to teach our sons and daughters the value and the beauty of a pure black relationship. And basically that should not be based on what we see in Hollywood. Okay, it becomes so much of a problem also that as far as the black relationship, that we have other black actors that are stepping up and trying to make a profit off of the decaying of the black relationships. Again, we have people writing books, we have people doing plays, we have people doing movies that portray really what's going on in the black relationship. And one of the main people that comes to mind that we all know is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is just one of the most creative, people that I've seen, that has come, from really nothing and really came to be a self-made billionaire. I mean, this man has taken a lot of time and creativity to go into delivering a message that's pretty much geared towards the black community as far as relationships. I mean, yeah, he has his few white folks that play different roles, but I think, in my opinion, that his work is truly, he's trying to deliver a message to the black folk to let them know that, okay, we need to clean up our act. We need to get our relationships together. We need to show America that, hey, we are beautiful people and that we need to stop clowning each other. And basically that is the real reason I think that, a lot of black folks that really need to pay attention to a lot of the things that he do. I mean, it's not, we have to look past, the wigs and the Madea, persona that he likes to portray or whatever. And we really have to look at the issues that he's talking about. He's talked about so many things as far as, rape, AIDS, children, growing up too fast, wanting to be unruly, jail, drugs, I mean, corporate America, schemes and stuff that black folks try to play to get over on each other. He's addressed a lot of this stuff. And basically, again, you cannot sit there and you cannot take his creativity away. But you know what? It's the fact that this stuff exists that is the reason why you have black folk that are going and really writing about it and making plays. Because if it wasn't existing, in relationships, they wouldn't have a need to address it in a book or a play. Okay, so now my question here is that really, what's going on? What is really going on? I mean, it's like we're frustrated. It's like we're trying to get to the meat and potatoes of what's going on. It's like, okay, what do I need to do to really get my mate or my partner to understand that he is really making me angry. He's really contributing to the reason why we cannot stay in this relationship together. Why the relationship is not going to work. I mean, and the thing about it is that we get so uptight when one person is not pulling their weight, or the other person is not living up to their quote unquote potential in a relationship. And really, to tell you honestly, I think that's a real reason why, also in the fact that we have a lot of interracial relationships. It's because I think that it really is a bit of a fault on both sides of the fence. And basically, one person can't sit there and say the blame that this is the reason why I left the relationship and got a white man, or this is the reason why I left the relationship to get a white woman. Because really, to tell you the truth, it's all about again, assigning blame. And really, I came up with some common complaints actually that I think that that would cause a decay of a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that this is all inclusive. I'm not saying that this is the overall reason, because I've actually taken some time to research this to try to figure out, what's going on, and pretty much after talking and researching and talking to folk, I had to sit down and put the pen to paper and kind of realize and write some things down and kind of compare and contrast what's going on between the mind of how a woman thinks of a black relationship and how a man thinks in a black relationship. Okay, so the first going to go to is pretty much the reasons why I thought, or the reasons why I think that black women want to get out of a relationship. Okay, now after I talked to a couple of people and got some ideas and start bouncing some things around, these are the three main reasons why they came up with the reasons why they really feel that they don't want to be in a black relationship, pretty much. They looked at the fact of the immaturity level of their mate. They looked at the fact that how they carry on, in society, around family, friends, or whatever. And the last part that I thought that was very interesting, and I have to say, is that, too many times they're saying that, their mate or whoever, they're obsessed with image. And really, to tell the truth, I was kind of a bit surprised and a bit taken back with this, because basically, you know what, with these three reasons, I cannot argue with that. Those three reasons are really, they're credible to me, because basically they do describe the state of pretty much most black men in relationships. I'm not saying that, just because your mate may have this trait that they have to leave a relationship and go and seek love with a person of a different race, in this case a white person. But I can understand the reason why they would want to do this. But one thing about it is that this is not the reason to get out of a relationship. You have to sit there. There's some give and take. Again, it is a proven fact that women do mature faster than men, but that does not mean that you just drop somebody just because they are quote unquote not on your level. And one thing about it is that, we have a lot of women that actually will sit there and say that, oh, I don't want this person because they're not on my level. They're not making the money. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. But my thing about it is that, what did you see in this person that caused you to want to be with the person? If you can get past all of the physical stuff and really get to the heart of the matter and look to what brought you to this person in the first place, all this other crazy stuff wouldn't even matter, because you'll know how to communicate by that time and really know how to address the issue and move on. Now, when I talk to the men, these are the real reasons why also that they came up with, as to the reason why they don't want to be in a relationship with a black woman. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is very interesting. This is going to be very interesting, because one of the main things, and I list them in the order that they gave me, is, in the first part that I mentioned, is the word power. And then I followed that by control. And then I went on and followed it by intellect. When I say the word power, pretty much it means that today's black woman wants to be in control of the relationship. That means they want to take all the shots. They want to make sure that they have all control. They want to rule everything. Now this is what they're, according to what they're saying. I'm not going to put my opinion in it, because again, I'm just going to just kind of stay neutral and just give it to you on what they told me. Okay, so basically, again, the power factor. I want to be in control. You can't tell me what to do. I can come and go as I want to. If you don't like it, too bad, too sad. And basically, again, that's a caveat that the power and control part goes together, because now it's like, okay, once I've let you, the men say once they allow the woman to have a little bit of a control, per se, in the relationship, now it's like the power have gone all out of control. They don't even have a say on what they want to do in their own house or in the relationship. The woman calls all the shots. It's like they switched roles. The man became the woman and the woman became the man. And now when that happens, it's like the relationship, is not really worth staying into, because now the man feels that he has really been robbed of his quote unquote role of what he's supposed to play in the relationship. The last area right there, which is the part of the intellect, these days women are actually getting degrees faster than black men. Or I should say, black women are getting degrees, and they are actually enrolled in colleges at a greater and higher percentage than black men, which means that they have a greater buying power, which means that they are able to bring home, and meaning that they're able to support and sustain themselves these days as opposed to years past. And because of that, they're wanting to go and seek out somebody that's on their own level. And pretty much the men say they're really afraid to really step to a quote unquote good looking professional black woman, because basically they've been shot down so many times. And the reason they want to know why they're being shot down is because their woman is sitting up there saying that, what, I've worked hard all my life, went to school and bust my butt, and I'm not going to settle for seconds. And really, that is really an insulting thing to say, but that's the reason why really a lot of black men, don't even want to even step to a decent black woman, because they already know, they've had it in their minds that they're going to be shot down. All because of pretty much intellect. You feel that, okay, first of all, you came from the same place that I came from. You didn't have no education. God opened the door to allow you to go to a prestigious college, get you a degree or whatever, and now you're out there, able to go out there in the business world and make things happen. So now you're wanting to get a mate, and now you want somebody that's quote unquote on your level. And to me, honestly, that is just the downfall, really, to tell you the truth, of the woman's role in a black relationship. I mean, and that's the quickest way to really run a good man away, is when they sit there and throw in the education. I'm smarter than you, which means that I'm better than you. And today's man, they're not interested in, your education. All they want is somebody that's going to treat them nice and be submissive when their time is appropriate, and respect them enough to let them have the role to be the leader in the relationship. But again, today's woman, looking at today's music, looking at today's films, looking at today's society and their view on women, most black women are not going to allow that, because they figure that to go back and step into the role of being submissive is an insult to their hard work. And pretty much with all of this being said, this fella here, the white man, is sitting back there laughing, because he's like, with all of this chaos that's going on there between the black man and the black woman, it's just only going to be a matter of time before they split up, and guess what? I'm going to get the black woman. And the sad part about it, folks, and I'm not trying to be insulting, is the fact that most black women feel that a white man really wants them. Honest to truth, you are the last choice for the white man. And I'm not trying to sound like to say that to be insulting, but one thing about it is that a black woman feels that they want to, I guess, parade around and wave a white fella in their face, in the black man's face, as if they got some sort of a trophy. But see, one thing about it is that the truth will come out sooner or later, because basically, somebody's going to get tired of being used. And one thing about it is that when it gets tired to that point, the true feelings are going to come out, and that's when the feelings are going to get hurt, and that's when the truth is really going to be laid on the line as to the real reason why this particular favorite person want, to hook up with a black woman. And and you see it play, you see it all the time. It's like, okay, and I'm not trying to harp on the black women, because again, some black men do the same thing too. They parade around a white woman as if they struck a gold mine, all in hopes of getting the black woman upset. And it seems to have worked, because you look at what we're going through now. Look at the reason why I'm posting this video. So obviously, it's equal fault on both sides. But one that we have to understand is that, again, all this bickering and stuff, it pretty much, leads to, like, I would have to say, like, a generational curse. And basically, when I say a generational curse, it all has to do with the power of words. And one thing about it is that in order for us to really be able to maintain and really exist as a, strong black union, we really have to get down back to and go to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is all about the words that we speak, okay? And I really want you to listen to a kind of a piece here that I kind of ran across on YouTube that really explains the importance of words, okay? And I really want you to really kind of understand and see what's going on here. Alright, I'm gonna.
These niggas out here ain't shit. All of them a bunch of lying ass dogs. They ain't what the spit it takes to cuss their ass out with. All of them cheat. Ain't no such thing as a good man. They don't give a damn about their kids. You see, I'm sitting here with these two badass kids, and where he at? He up with the next bitch. And if your man don't cheat, oh, give him time, baby. He will, trust me. You just keep on living. I've been through it with these no-count bastards. You ain't been through what I've been through. Shit. All these niggas ain't no good. They all cut from the same cloth. Ain't no good men. And their damn show ain't no good black men. Bitter mama. Ooh, girl. You so bitter. Your pain and anger are sitting inside of you, rotting out your insides. But let's ponder this accusation for a moment that there are no good black men and niggas ain't shit. You see, where there are no good men, you find no good women. 9 times out of 10, the first relationship a man has is with his mother. Bitter mama, you so bitter. Your mind is clouded with rage, and in the midst of this rage, you have forgotten the sons you are raising. These little black boys who will grow up to be black men, the men you hate, the men you love, the men you simply do not understand. Your son's first relationship with a woman is with you. At your breast, he finds nourishment. It's you, bitter mama, who teaches him about true, unconditional love. But mama is bitter because daddy and whoever else walked all over her heart. How then can she raise a good black man if she is steadily proclaiming ain't no such thing as a good black man and niggas ain't shit? They all cut from the same cloth. No, they all come from a womb, the womb of a woman. So really, every time you say men ain't shit, you're saying I ain't shit. This rage is really self-hate. manifested from years of physical and systematic abandonment from your children, whether ripped from your arms and sold on the auction block 400 years ago, to today seeing them placed in foster care never to be returned. And the black man, he's been taken from you countless times over the centuries at gunpoint, or whether he left you for another woman, or the seductive lure of dope, or he just can't stay out of jail. The fact is they left. And 400 years later, here you are, sitting on the phone with your girlfriends talking about ain't no good black men, niggas ain't shit. And your son, 4 months old and in your arms, or 3 years old sitting on the floor playing with his toys, or 12 sitting in the next room acting like he ain't listening, but they hear you. And unconsciously internalizing this. Ain't no good black men, niggas ain't shit. Ain't no good black men, niggas ain't shit. Ain't no good black men, niggas ain't shit, until it becomes I ain't no good, I ain't shit. 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 This becomes their mantra. And why not? Mama said it, it must be true. So our sons begin to play out this self-fulfilling prophecy. From New York to California, the sidewalks cry out with our son's blood. Every time he murders another black child, in reality, he's killing himself and any reflections of him. Mama hates him because he's a black man like his daddy. And the world hates him because his skin is black. The morgues are filling up with our sons. Ghost towns become thriving city because of the penitentiaries built to house the ones that are living. Because I ain't shit. Every time he slaps, beats, rapes a woman, in his mind, he is justified because I ain't no good. And bitter mama, you made him this way. You planted the seeds in his mind. You watered those wild weeds. His daddy wasn't shit, and he's just like his no good ass daddy. Bitter mama, you speak these vile words into your children's life and your life. Poison in your household, curse in your family. Bitter mama, our sons are the fruit of our wombs, and if the fruit is no good, we must inspect the tree from which it came. We wonder why the penitentiaries are filling up with our sons. But how many of us planted a poison seed and watered it? Bitter mama, are you not ashamed? Our sons make records that tell the world a black woman ain't nothing but a bitch in heat, only good to mate with and pimp. Bitter mama, I can't lay all the blame on you. Daddy plays a part in this too, but you, bitter mama, you are who life comes through. You are the nurturer, the teacher, the healer. But if the medicine woman is sick, who heals her? Bitter mama, God is love. And love heals all things. Connect with the God in you and love yourself out of this vile poison bitterness. Bitter mama, I'm glad I had a chance to sit and talk with you. But before I leave, let me say, the next time you put your lips together to say, ain't no good black men, ask yourself, what have I done to uplift a black man? And when you look at your beautiful black sons, remember, you're looking in the face of a black man.
Now, with that being said, now, how in the world can you justify? I mean, you can actually really understand the reason why we actually have a lot of decaying in the black relationships. Because really, the whole point of me actually bringing that into this, PowerPoint here is to let you know that words are powerful. And one thing about it that, again, I keep going back to those words, is that we have to be careful about the words that we speak in relationships. And basically, again, according from this standpoint, from this message that was just said, it can be argued that really today's relationships, the black relationships, aren't going to work because of what's been spoken in years past by women that should have known better. And basically, again, it doesn't matter. Words are powerful, and basically words can actually damage each other. It can damage your self-esteem. It can make you feel worthless. It's my also reasoning to believe that you can kill somebody with your words quicker than you can with a bullet. So really, we have to really be careful and understand that, words do have a crucial part in the deterioration of black relationships, because basically, these days, when you go, and you look at a black man and a black woman, they're saying hurtful things to each other. I mean, and one thing about it is that, when you speak, the impact, does not have to be, physically seen. It can be emotional. All of this jabbering, going back and forth, calling each other different names, letting the world see how ignorant we are as black men and black women. All it's doing is painting a picture again of that we cannot get along. And basically all these words and jabs, it hurts, and it's hurting on the inside. And one thing about it is that anytime, when you have internal hurt, it's not always seen on the outside. But going back again to the reason for that is because words are powerful. Look at the effect of the words. These are the type of things that words can cause. You speaking damnation over a child, over a young girl, over a young boy, saying that they're not going to be worth nothing because their father is not worth anything. And one thing about it is that I really feel that, women should really be, because they're the main ones that are really more apt to say stuff like that than a typical black man. Your words that you speak has power to make things happen. And one thing about it, you got a lot of times that, the reason why a lot of these black relationships don't work is because somebody down the line have really brought a curse by opening their mouth and saying how bad black relationships are, and that I don't want my child or my daughter to be associated with a fallow black person in a relationship. And that's foul, because you're taking away the beauty of what really could be. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with mixed couples or whatever. They are beautiful. I know they are beautiful. I have a couple in my family. But one thing about it is that, again, when you talk and speak damnation over people, these young children, you don't know what type of lasting effect it will have on them in the future. And one thing about it, a lot of them sit there and they are happy with the fact that they're saying these words, but they don't understand their true worth of in a relationship. Aside from the fact of speaking damnation, saying that men are no good, that they are not going to be worth nothing because their father isn't worth anything, again, the women, I believe, in a sense, they have a greater reason as to the reason why, in my opinion, a lot of these relationships aren't working. Again, because of the words that's already been spoken. And really, to tell you the truth, they may look at it as a fact of being true. But you know what? Even though, you may be in a situation where, the relationship may not be going good, your words still have power. That is still no excuse to sit there and speak and look at the negative and speak at it as if it's a hopeless situation. We black folks, we are all that we have. And we have to really learn how to be able to be kind to one another and speak positivity, even though we may be in a situation that may be a big negative. I mean, it's easy to sit there and smile and say that it's okay, that I got, the love of my life, I got a white man, or whatever the case may be. But you got to understand, the worth that you really are in their eyes. Because to tell you the truth, when you strip away all of this weave and all this makeup and stuff like that, really, to tell you the truth, they don't think all that highly of you either. But to get back and caveat back to the issue about the role of the black woman in the relationship and the black man in the relationship, a woman has to really understand the reason, why they are being disrespected. And the reason why they're disrespected is because of how they portray themselves to the media. Black women have to understand that they are more than voluptuous hips and big breasts and big lips and all of this hair that's weaved down their backs. A strong woman does not need all of that to be in a relationship. Because one thing about it, as you age, I guarantee you, everything that looks like a Coke bottle is going to sag and start looking like a 2-liter. The same thing with the man. All the muscles and stuff is going to atrophy and it's going to really start to sag. So your physical beauty really does not have anything to do with the maintaining of a relationship, because if it did, really, then you have to check yourself and wonder why in the world are you in the relationship to begin with. You see this, they're, sitting there demanding respect. But yet still they're sitting up there shaking their butts and doing all this type of stuff in the midst of children. And see, one thing about it is that you have to be this goes for both the black man and the black woman. You have to be conscious of what you do and what you expose your children to. Because one thing about it, they learn based on what they see adults do. And when they see these black men and black women always going at each other, that's all they're going to figure that the relationship is supposed to be. Is that the black relationship is supposed to be just but a bunch of chaos. And that is not what it's all about. It never was all about that. We have to be able to come together and unify and really stand in that role and really show America that we are a beautiful relationship and that we are going to make a comeback. Again, I don't have anything with, black men and and white women, or black women and white men, because again, you fall in love with who you want to fall in love with. But one thing about it is that you cannot go run to another race and really and marry or do whatever with the race and hang it over there another person's head and say, you know what, this person is doing the job that you can't, because all that's doing is really causing further separation. And that is not what the black race is supposed to be about. Really, that's not what any relationship is supposed to be about. We have to be able to go back and examine ourselves and look to really see the reason why we're compatible and why we should make this relationship work. It's so easy to sit there and say, you know what, it's fine, you know what, I want to go into a relationship. I don't think that we're compatible. It's fine. There's no love lost. But you can't really look at that as the first step or the first reasons for going to get somebody just because, your relationship isn't working. That's foul, because you're not really given a chance for the relationship to really grow and really blossom like it could be. And when you begin to really let the relationship grow through proper communication, through proper respect, and through, proper, adherence, and really, all these other things that make the relationship work, you'll turn out with a beautiful family for years to come. And you will be able to be example for future black relationships to follow. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.